What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content in today's video. Are you tired of playing the Fossil Cup? Do you need a team for the Ultra League? Look no further, this team from Mr. Tamagotcha, who is a fellow YouTube content creator. Please check him out, link in the description of the pinned comment for his channel. He brings us a very strong Ultra League climbing team, and we're going to go over it today and look at his expert run here in the Ultra League. Now, first Pokemon on the team, we're going to be running Annihilape. Annihilape is just absolutely busted and very strong in the Ultra League, and honestly, it's basically overtaken the meta. And you know it, and I know it. It's all here. So, the next Pokemon on the team, and I know, it's Registeel. I get it, okay? You don't need the Registeel. Mr. Tamagotcha himself tells me you don't need the Registeel. You could use a Greedent. You could use, I mean, if you want to be double weak to Charm, you could use something like Guzzlord. You could use, another, Pokemon that basically is weak to fighting so that you can sweep with, like a good sweeper that's weak to fighting. That's kind of what you're looking for. Greedent's something that I like. I'm even looking on PvPoke. You could even run Pidgeot. You could run, no, it's not weak to fighting though, but you could run Pidgeot, you could run Licky, you could run the Greedent, Lantern, no, don't run Lantern, Lantern's terrible. Abomasnow's on here. There's quite a few Pokemon on this if you want to go ahead and run it. Now, we're running Night Slash on the Annihilape. You could also run Ice Punch if you like, but the third Pokemon to round up the team as the safe swap, it's going to be that XehrFelrose. XehrFelrose is incredibly broken now that it has Shadow Claw in the Ultra League. You definitely prefer to have the Shadow in the Ultra League because you have more bulk to play with. However, if you don't have a Shadow, a normal does work just as fine. Now, precaution here, I am messing with the audio levels here on the background music, so please let me know in the comments if you think it's too loud or if it's just right. We just cranked it up just one notch. I want to see if it adds some extra energy to the battles to get some excitement going, man, because, you know what? Why not? Anyway, the music's starting now. We're going to get into the battles here, and we've got Annihilape on the lead here against the Poliwrath, and you could not ask for a better lead. This is where we want to see the Poliwrath. The opponent is staying in. They are ABA weak to the Annihilape, as if opponents are strong in the back to the Annihilape, they will definitely swap out of this lead here. So Icy Wind, gonna be the opponent's move of choice. Now, I like the fact that Tamagotcha does not throw his energy here. The opponent having this Skuntank, it is not good in a straight matchup against the Annihilape. However, it is going to do okay because it's able to resist all of the energy from the Annihilape, and even Ice Punch, if the Annihilape had it, wouldn't do that much. Focus Blast is going to do quite a bit of damage, but here in the Ultra League, a Focus Blast and almost everything else in the Ultra League, you'll need at least 2 moves to knock out with a Registeel. And I have recently built an XL Registeel. I would like to just point out that XL Registeel is disgusting. I don't know if Tamagotcha's Registeel is or not. You could also get away with a Raid IV Registeel if you don't have a good, Registeel for the XL Registeel. There we go. We're going to launch this Shadow Ball off here. Shadow Ball is going to get a shield off the Poliwrath. The opponent still not... They're just staying in with the Poly, man. They're going to go for the Icy Wind yet again, try to lower the attack, and they're going to come in. They got the double Dark Poison team. The Jamie Finn special shoutouts to the Shadow Man himself. Unfortunately, this opponent is not running any Shadows, and Tamagotcha is just looking here to waste the Switch timer, as unfortunately gave up Switch when he had a really favorable alignment. Now, typically, you don't want to really do this because if you're giving up favorable alignment like this, the opponent could have a hard counter in the back. Now, in this case, thankfully, they didn't, but they're going to be able to throw all their energy. Now, Tamagotcha's pretty happy to just let this go. I can imagine he's probably just going to look to sweep with the XehrFelrose here. Up a shield, and the pacing on this thing is absolutely just disgusting. As you can see, 5 Shadow Claws to that Hydro Cannon. That's going to do a lot of damage to the opponent's Drapion. They just let it go, and they're going to try to see if the Poliwrath can go through the Feraligatr with 1 shield. The opponent's probably going to shield this first. Hydro Cannon is if they're going to throw a move here that's going to be able to debuff the attack like Icy Wind, they're going to shield the first move and then throw the move and then allow the debuffed Hydro Cannons to come through. So this is all going to come down to the Feraligatr here, but I'm pretty confident that the Feraligatr is going to be able to take out the Poliwrath because it still has a shield, and it's definitely not going down in 5 or less counters. So we're going to see the Feraligatr Shadow Claw down, and that's going to be a good game. Well played. All right, we're getting into this next game here. We're going to have the Annihilape on the lead versus another Poliwrath. Man, where are these leads when I play Ultra League? Usually my Annihilape gets hit with a Charmer or a Weird Ear or something. Shout out to Home Slice Henry. Opponent is going to throw the move here on 7. That means it is just the Icy Wind. It is not going to be a Scald here. Icy Wind does lower the attack by 1 Sage guaranteed. The opponents are staying in. I don't understand it, man, but you know what? It's okay. Tamagotchi probably is more than happy to see this happen right now. The opponent's shielding up Shadow Balls as well, which is telling me if I was playing this game, they have something that is very weak in the back to this Poliwrath. Now, here's the thing, though, is if you do have the Registeel in the back, almost everything in the Ultra League, even if it's like a Poliwrath, and they're not going to have another Poliwrath, right? Like, hopefully this means that they're weak in the back to things like Registeel and Feraligatr, because typically if you're strong to it in the lead, you would expect a trainer to be weak to it in the back. So we're going to come in with the Feraligatr and get the Shadow Claw farm down, up his shield, and the opponent... I'm sorry, trainers, what did I just witness? Is that a lantern in my Ultra League? I don't think so. You get that fish out of here! Tamagotchi, if you lose this, we're done. This video is ending immediately. I'm not even doing the rest of the Shoutcast. I will end it, and then I will upload it. Do not let me embarrass you, trainer. You have to win this game. Now, up his shield, Registeel is in a very solid spot here. The Tamagotchi's Registeel has an extra shield, and it also has an energy leak. So there's absolutely no way that Tamagotchi's Registeel can really lose this matchup. It's going to come down to whether or not he wants to close the game out with the Feraligatr or the Registeel. Now, I like shielding here because it really puts him in a position where he can use the Registeel for later. The opponent immediately swaps in with their Lantern. The Registeel hangs on by just a hair of HP. They want to get in and put the sparks onto this Feraligatr. There are no shields in play for the Feraligatr, but there's one shield left for this Lantern. Lantern probably has to start shielding at some point. They're going to let this one go too. They know they have to save his shield just for the Registeel, so it's going to be up to Registeel. Is this Registeel bulky enough to make it to 2 charge moves? We've already got the 1 Focus Blast, and I think that this is a lock. I don't think there's a chance that the opponent can win this game unless they somehow are able to catch a move on their Registeel, so Tamagotchi absolutely has to keep an eye out for that catch. Now, I'm interested to see how this goes. I'm telling you, I will literally end this video right now if he loses to this Lantern. Okay, thank you. No, we're good. As long as that Registeel does not have a Focus Blast loaded, we're going to be able to win this game. Lock on down is going to take it, and that's a good game. Thank you for winning that game, trainer. I'm so proud of you. Also, get your Lantern out of the Ultra League. It doesn't belong here. We got a really bad lead, though, in the next game. Gliscor is a bit of a core breaker here. Not going to be able to bring in the Registeel here. Feraligatr sitting in back is the only good answer to this this Gliscor. So, gonna go for the Shadow Ball. The opponent takes it. This Shadow Ball actually helps a lot here because now Registeel is in a position where it can KO with a Focus Blast or even a Zap Cannon almost. Now, the opponent's gonna swap in their own Feraligatr. There's a Shadow Feraligatr, and they're also able to win Charge Attack priority. That is really unfortunate because Tamagotchi really wants to get some damage off onto this opponent's Feraligatr so that Annihilate can at least try to make a farm down play here. There is a very small chance that the opponent has something in the back that might be weak to Registeel, because I've seen a lot of trainers that just don't respect the Registeel recently, but this is a tall order for this Registeel to overcome not only a Gliscor, but also a Feraligatr. I don't know if this is going to be a win. I don't really see this being a win unless the opponent has like something that's so incredibly weak to Registeel in the back that it's just going to be a game. Nope, that's Parisian, dude. We're done. We're totally done here. Registeel's just going to eat the whole team, just destroys Registeel. Even the Shadow Feraligatr is going to be able to beat the Registeel if it needs to, because up shields it's able to get the 2 or 3 Hydro Cannons off. But good game anyway. It's one of those times where you tried your best and there's nothing you can do. We've all been there. Getting into the next game, there is a Swampert on the lead. I don't see a lot of Swamperts anymore, but I'm always happy to see, you know, some old Pokemon still retaining their value, as it really does show that if you build a Pokemon for PvP, which is one of the things I like about this game, is that we only have to reinvest if we want to really, you know, what's the word? I'm looking for a word here. I'm literally doing this in one take. I always do these Shoutcasts raw one take, and we're able to get to the Sandslash for some chip damage. Min-max, that's the term I'm looking for. Unless you're trying to min-max certain spreads and things, because otherwise, you know, we're really just, you build one thing for a league and you're done. And that's the nice thing, because some of these investments are very, oh, no, dude, you've got to be kidding me. They really went for the Hydro Cannon bait there, and we shielded. Oh, no, that feels so bad. Opponent has a... I'm sorry, are we really in the Ultra League? I have not seen a Magnezone in so long. So Registeel comes in here. It's at very big risk of being taken out here. You have to hope that the opponent maybe weaken the back to the Feraligatr, and I think that it was really wise of Tamagotchi not to throw the move here and save the energy on the Feraligatr. Now, thankfully, we're going to be able to get to this Focus Blast, but we're looking to undercharge it. Are we going to get a farm down? No, the Focus Blast just knocks it out anyway. Boom! And in comes the Swampert. We get a farm down here, going for the Hydro Cannon right away, recognizing that the opponent's Swampert was close to a move. What's in the back? Is it Talonflame? Oh my god, I actually called... No, it's Charizard. But the opponent still loses anyway. That's a good game. We take the Feraligatr for the win. All right. Next battle. Here we go. Annihilate into... Hello! The best lead you could have possibly asked for. The whole team has an incredibly good amount of play into this Aurorus. So, what you'd be looking for here, as the trainer that's got the Annihilate, the Registeel, and the Feraligatr, right? You have positive switch advantage on that Aurorus everywhere you go. No matter what you have a way to beat it. So shielding here on the Earthquake is the only way that we lose this game, because the opponent might have been able to get the Earthquake farm down or something. Now, even though we have positive switch advantage no matter what, you still want to make sure that we can try to keep the Annihilate on the Aurorus, unless the opponent comes in with a Virizion here, which is exactly what they do. Now, this is huge here for obvious reasons, right? Now we have Annihilate that we can go onto the Virizion, now that we know the opponent's whole team, right? You want to keep that switch advantage until you see the opponent's third. Now we know that there's an Annihilate that's going to come in the Virizion, and the Aurorus has absolutely nowhere to go on this team. So the opponent kind of just auto-loses at this point here, and I think they might know it. So, yeah, we just go straight for farming down. The opponent knows it's over. Good game. But more so to that point, right? Like, if your opponent has something that your entire team can beat, you still want to try to maintain the positive switch advantage so that you can, at the very least, like, if they don't, like, they're not going to come in against the Feraligatr that's loaded with energy with their Aurorus. They're just not. So you get to see their third, and then you can make that distinction of, do I want to keep this advantage or not? Now, opponent does make a nice catch, but it's a Shadow Ball, and unfortunately, that Hydro Cannon is going to hurt. But again, we have positive switch advantage here when it comes to the Feraligatr. Feraligator's absolute... Oh my goodness, it farms down here. That's disgusting. Feraligatr gets a farm down and has a shield advantage. That Toxicroak is going to have a bad time. The opponent comes in with a Mandibuzz? Toxicroak? Mandibuzz. Core. I haven't seen Toxicroak in the Ultra League in forever, dude. I love it. Opponent no shields the Ice Beam, and at this point, you can just go straight for the Hydro Cannons, and your Feraligatr is just winning this game out right here. Dark Pulse is going to get the first shield, going straight for the next Ice Beam. It's very, very heads-up play here, I think, actually. You could go straight Hydro, but the opponent's not likely to shield this with a loaded Toxicroak in the back, and they just let it go. Don't even get to see the Registeel. Good game. Also, I hope the music's not too loud. Again, please let me know in the comments. I take the feedback very seriously on this stuff. Anyway, we see Jellicent in the lead. Positive for the back line here. You need to get out into something else to draw out a potential issue for the Feraligatr. And we get the perfect draw out here for this Registeel. Registeel does not win by any means against Virizion, but this is a very nice thing to draw out so that Feraligatr no longer has to see it in the back. And we're kind of hoping, right, that Feraligatr can handle the Jellicent later. Now, I think that it would have been probably more sensible here, just in, from my perspective. It could be, there could be another reason, but I would have probably gone into the Feraligatr here, only for the fact that, that the Registeel is technically a better answer into the Jellicent because you don't have Crunch. But the opponent is running Stone Edge, Leaf Blade, and I feel like they've made a massive mistake here. Trying to catch that Leaf Blade on the Annihilate here is kind of huge, but unfortunately it also means now that the opponent gets to just bring in their Jellicent and maintain, again, that positive switch advantage that they're going to have into it. Now, we're going to just let the Annihilate go here. The nice thing about Ultra League is that you can try to make plays like this where you're just trying to make the switches and try to dance around and manage your energy and try to make something happen here. But the opponent shielding this up is massive. Now, Registeel could just get to a move if it wants to and probably knock this thing out. Now, I don't know if it's worth bringing... Never mind. Registeel's almost got a move here, and the opponent lost track of the Registeel's energy. My button's prepped and ready to go here. Boom! Ooh, yes! And in comes the Virizion, giving the Feraligatr the farm down. You have to shield this, because you know that they have the Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade's gonna get the shield here, and then the opponent has 2 moves stored. If we live the Shadow Ball here, The Feraligator's looking very good. The opponent is looking to come back in with a Jellicent. Shadow Hydro Cannon, and frame drops. You can't have both, man. Get rid of the frame drops. I'd much rather have the Hydro Cannons. Now, you just need to be able to get to 2 more Hydro Cannons. We got 1 off here. I think 1 more Hydro Cannon after this is going to be enough, but it's going to be up to Tamagotchi's Feraligator. Can it live? The opponent over-farming by way too much, man. Gotta throw the energy at some point, trainer, but that's okay. Feraligator's going to take the win here, and that's actually a good game. Very nice move timing by Tamagotchi and energy awareness there. Getting into the next game here. Opponent is going to send in an Alolan Sandslash. And again, we have a very positive lead here. You want to keep this alignment. We're going to immediately pop in with the Registeel. Bro, if I was the opponent, I'd just quit here, honestly. You cannot flip this no matter how hard we try. The Shadow Tentacruel is really, really good, especially when compared to the regular in some cases, but not in this one. The Zap Cannon is just going to murder this poor thing. Oh, yes. Kaboom! And the thing is that because of the fact that you get this farm down, it doesn't matter if they come back in with the Alolan Sandslash. We're getting a shield for free by just throwing a drill run into it. But the other thing to keep in mind, too, is that you can also force them to throw their energy almost right away because of the farm down. The opponent has to throw the drill run almost right away here. Tamagotchi's just pivoting straight away into this, into the Annihilate. And, I mean, it makes sense because Feraligator has a very good matchup into the Alolan Sandslash. He's just trying to draw out whatever they have in the back. And honestly, this is a kind of play that I've been struggling with a lot lately in the Ultra League, and what has really kind of thrown me for a loop is because trainers are making these very heads-up swaps after fighting for switch advantage. They're just getting switch advantage. And then they just make a swap because they know that there's probably something else in the back that this Pokemon's going to have value into. Now, Shadow Feraligator is going to come in. I think that Tamagotchi is playing these games very, very well. A few times now that I would normally be like, why are we making these swaps? Because we want switch advantage. But he shows me time and time again that it's the right play, and I agree with it now. So good game, well played. Getting into the next game, we got a Greedent. You'll love to see it. Everything but the Feraligator here is solid, and we bring in the Registeel to hard counter this Tentacruel. Now, normally you see the Tentacruel on the lead and the Greedent in the back, but Greedent lead does throw some trainers off if you're not prepared for it, because you'll see a lot of things, you know, in the lead that maybe are not necessarily weak to fighting. So you would expect, you know, to see, you know, Tentacruel, for example. It's a very good example. So now it's going to be a tough choice because this is not a Shadow Tentacruel, it's a regular. This farm down is going to be very costly here, and the opponent will get to at least another Scald before it can be done. So Tamagotchi is going to undercharge the Focus Blast to attempt to get this farm down. The opponent, no matter what they do here, unfortunately for them, there's no chance for them to be able to just straight farm down with the Greedent. Even after this Scald, it's not going to do enough damage to put it in a Mudshot farm down range for the Greedent, but we do get the attack drop off the Scald, which is unfortunate for this Registeel. Now, Registeel is going to toss this Focus Blast off, and this is one of those games where you cannot swap back into the Annihilate here, just for the simple fact that Feraligator has a very negative matchup into this Greedent. Now, you could make the case that, yes, Greedent is nearly within Hydro Cannon range here, but the opponent's going to go for this Crunch, and then we're just going to see the Annihilate pop back in, and then we got the Jellicent coming in. Now, Feraligator has a very, very positive matchup here because of the Shadow Claws just ripping through this Jellicent. Over the course of a 2-shield matchup, it really is just going to end up coming down to maybe just 1 or 2 Hydro Cannons. Now, Tamagotchi gets a massive amount of frame drops there, unfortunately, and throws on poor timing just because the game stuttered so much. I completely understand, man. I cannot in good faith watch Android players and just fathom how just horribly this game runs on their phones. It's just, I feel like I made the right choice when I went to iOS, but my goodness, like, Android players have it absolutely terribly right now, and I'm just feel so bad for them because Niantic has done nothing to fix this consistently, right? This was a recent thing. We thought that they had fixed the frame drops, but they had not. Very nice swap here, back into the Annihilate. Opponent tried to make, you know, either a catch or just try to get some extra farm here, maybe catch Tamagotchi off guard. But this Annihilate just farms down the Greedent, throws a Night Slash into the Jellicent. That's going to be a wrap on this game here. Crunch is unfortunately not going to be even close to enough to make a difference here. And they're just, like I said, just go for that Night Slash and KO this Jellicent. That's going to be a good game here. Well played. Getting very close to Expert now at this point. There's been quite a lot of wins in this video. I reckon it's getting close. All right, getting into the next game here. We are going to have this Annihilate against another Annihilate. This is not what you want to see on the lead. This is the reason I hate running Annihilate. Now, the opponent has 2470 CP. That tells me that this Annihilate is probably bad IVs, also known as attack weighted. So, Sandslash is going to get called here. A very heads-up bait call here. I almost always end up calling the baits myself with Annihilate mirrors. But we full send the Shadow Ball and the opponent's in shambles, dude. Oh, you love to see it. Hold on, I gotta get the button. No.
Boom!
I was seriously expecting them to shield that. But most trainers are just calling the Sandslash. So very, very good play here to just go for the damage in the guaranteed damage or shield, right? Like most people are gonna call that, you imagine. So except for when I throw Sandslash, they never shield. And then they always shield whenever I throw the Shadow Ball, but they never shield when I throw that Sandslash. Now, oh, holy frame drops, giving a whole move to the freaking Magnezone. Niantic, fix it, please. Getting a shield advantage. Oh my God, dude, how do you? I can't. I have tough enough time dealing with things like one-turn lag and other, stupid things like that. The frame drops are murdering Tamagotchi, and I hate it. Opponent goes for the mirror shot. That might be a mistake. Going for 2 moves? Oh, trainer, no. Now it's all up to Feraligatr. Can Feraligatr make the magic happen? 1, 2, 3, going for the Hydro Cannon. Hopefully the opponent lets this go and saves the shield. I don't know if they have an answer in the back, but that's another alternative you could run to Registeel trainers. Just run Shadow Magnezone. 2 shields here. Does the Feraligatr get this win? I don't know. But the opponent just going to go straight for Mirror Shot. Tamagotchi's forced to shield. Able to get 1 more Shadow Claw in as the opponent throws a Volt Switch. No shields. This is going to take out the Magnezone. What's in the back? What's in the back? What's in the back? It's the Feraligatr. It came back. There was a Feraligatr earlier and I missed it, so that was my fault. But Feraligator's going to easily be able to pick up this KO with the Hydro Cannon. Taking out the opponent's Feraligatr. What a game. Goodness. Shield the Shadow Balls, trainers. Shield the Shadow Balls. And that's going to do it. That's the final game. Picking up a 5-0 solid set here. Being able to get up to the expert range. We're going to catch this Wingull first, though. Skipping right past the Wingull, 2775. You look very nicely played, Tamagotchi. Makes me inspired to go back and try more Ultra League myself. But thank you very much, everybody, for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that you can, this is like the team in Ultra League right now, I feel like. It is just the team. Like, you could try to flip it around, run the Greedent or Registeel on the lead, and you could still run Feraligatr in the back with the Annihilate. Like, Feraligatr literally fits on every piece of this team, no matter, which way you run it. So, super solid team. Love the gameplay. Thank you, Tamagotchi, for the submission here. Again, if you want to send a submission in for your battles to be featured on the channel, trainers, you can go into the description and pin comment, find the Google form to fill out, and submit those battles. Thank you all very much for watching. We're going to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.